Charlie D, and this is your weekly buzz all the way from
Ericeira, Portugal.
Portugal. We're having a great week surfing.
Absolutely.
It's good to work really hard, but play a lot harder, right?
Too right.
All right. So
surf, sun, and sea.
That's
and
right.
good food.
And great food and great company.
Right.
Lots of mind bending. We've been talking a lot this week about raising people's inner vibration by following a chiropractic lifestyle, which in my humble opinion includes not only the most amazing chiropractic specific adjustments, but eating a high vibratory diet with lots of just superpower nutrition, getting into some high vibratory activity like surfing, or like you guys were doing some workouts while I was sleeping.
On the terrace.
Getting into some high vibration sleep and also high vibration thought. And what am I missing? I think that's it. And staying away from all the spraying that we've been going on here. So tell us a little bit about, you've got a huge office in the UK.
Yeah.
And your primary focus is not only on the chiropractic portion, but you also work with your peeps on just raising their level of vibration through wellness.
Yeah, we really feel, I guess, we've got a moral obligation in chiropractic to explain to people why they have their subluxations in the first place, right?
Right.
And people get subluxations because of physical, chemical, and emotional stresses. So we can go ahead and adjust people and take pressure off their nervous system, connecting their brain to their body. But at the same time, you have to educate them on how to eat right, how to think right, and how to move right. And I think what we've done with our office is we've held people accountable for that, so the job gets done.
And healing is going to happen a lot faster if you really involve all those parameters. I mean, it's great to think that an Atlas adjustment is going to clear up everything, but that might have happened in, centuries ago when people were eating what we would consider food and actually got some type of physical activity, and were brainwashed by TV and actually slept in rhythms with, natural order and, the sun setting and the sun rising.
Right.
But we live in a completely different world with just the most horrendous things people call food, with massive toxicity.
We're totally incongruent with what our genetics require.
Right.
We're out the water.
So, I really like the fact that you also use a lot of, and I'm going to employ a lot of this too through your 8 Weeks to Wellness program, where you actually measure objective findings and then you check them on, their initial visit, and then you check as a progress report to see how they're doing.
Yeah, so we really feel that gets measured gets managed.
Right, perfect.
So we have to measure lots of different parameters objectively in order to grade someone's health. We can't grade people's health on how they feel. We have to grade it on how they function.
Right.
So it's so important in our office to measure that. And if we're going to change their health, if we're going to change their overall wellness and their overall health, we have to measure that.
Right.
And as you know, that's not just the mere absence of pain. You can take someone from 50% to 100%, and I feel that's really what we do well in chiropractic, and I really feel there's a massive market out there for us to step up as true wellness doctors.
Right.
Because if we don't step up as wellness doctors, someone else is going to take the place, man.
Yeah, personally, it's the lifestyle that you and I both live.
Right.
And a lot of people, especially in my practice, want to know what they can do so that they can have the same amount of energy that I have, and they can still be, I'm 57 and I'm still surfing every day, and I'm in my, I said I was old enough to be your dad, and I am old enough to be. How old is your dad?
He's 56, 57, same age as you.
Yeah, and you gave me a nice compliment. You said I feel more like what?
Well, you're definitely younger than how my dad's functioning right now. It's really sad for me.
But you said I feel more like I'm your brother.
Yeah. Oh no, right.
That's what I was trying to get at. You blew the punchline, dude. And I took that as a compliment, because part of the reason I feel that I'm younger is because I always hang around people that not necessarily are younger, but I like to hang around people that still have that youthful level of vibration, still that childlike, mentality, where we're excited about getting up in the day and going surfing and doing things that we love to do, including practice chiropractic.
Right. Absolutely. And I think,
And if you may say, I'm going to bring this up, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. My brother, he was a great chiropractor, and he got adjusted, and then he died of a heart attack. So, that's because he had a horrible lifestyle. And if he would have had some of the measurements that you currently do in your practice that would have showed him where he was on that whole perspective of health, maybe he wouldn't have had his heart attack. Maybe there were things he would have done in his life to change where he was at. And the same thing happened with your dad.
No doubt. And I have no doubt in my mind in saying that we change people's lives every single day in what we do. And I really feel, who are we as chiropractors to not tell someone that they're walking towards a cliff edge if you can clearly see them doing that? We have a moral obligation to tell people about the stresses associated with their lifestyle. And in doing that, we're going to change, as we said, the vibrational state.
Right.
And as a consequence, if you raise someone's vibrational state on the bigger picture, that changes the consciousness of humanity, which then goes to the next thing we've been talking about a lot, which is the problem with our planet.
Yeah, and you've got me, I already, obviously I talk a lot about GMO, I talk a lot about geoengineering, the whole vaccine scam that's going on. But yeah, and I've always known about the issues with the planet, but you really brought that to kind of a forefront with the movie Revolution for me, and we're going to contact Rob Stewart and see if maybe we can get him involved with CalGem, because I'm very concerned about the way we not only treat the air that we breathe, but the way we treat the ocean, which is really just an extension of our own biosphere that we continue to just dump all the shit in the ocean, and we dump it all into the air that we breathe with no respect that, we're part of the biosphere. We're not some exclusive being that's, inert to what's going on in the environment.
Totally. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
So there's a lot of issues that, we've been talking about over the week, but the thing is, if we can bring about better clarity to people by raising their consciousness through, basically everything that goes on in the world today has a tendency to bring down a person's vibratory tone, their consciousness, their state of being, to the point where they're all basically asleep, and what we're trying to do is awaken people's consciousness to the devastation that's not only going on with their own individual health, but the health of their own communities, their society, their countries, but really globally. And I say this all the time, and probably people are sick of hearing it, but I've lived a good life, but I think we should do some things to preserve the planet for you, and if you want to have kids, which sometimes I wonder if that's a good idea or not.
That's the conversation we've been having, buddy.
Yeah, if we don't turn things around, unless we find another planet to live on, right?
Maybe that's a choice.
Okay, so one of the things that we talked about too, and then we'll wrap this up, is that you've been having a really hard time finding an associate doctor to come in, because I feel it personally, and one of the reasons I've sustained 30 years of practice and I'm still more on fire than I've ever been, you too, is that I take 4 or 5 major vacations a year. That's why I'm in Portugal now. We're going to Mexico, Indonesia. The thing is, you need to plug in and then you need to unplug to stay. You got
to work like your heart, right?
Yeah,
you got the beats.
Yeah,
or relaxes.
Exactly. Yeah. You need a diastolic and a systolic, right, baby? Right. All right. So we're on diastolic right now, and so he needs it could be a student, it could be a seasoned doctor. I think the only parameter, in my own opinion, you just need somebody that can adjust and is trainable.
Totally. So, and you got to own it,
yeah, you got to own it.
I really want to know why you've become a chiropractor. I always say, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So you need to have a big heart, a big why, and have a foundational drive to want to change humanity.
Do you think anybody's out there like that?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So where have you been basically trying to market your need for a chiropractic associate?
Well, with the local associations, the United Chiropractic Association online. If you're looking to come and work in England at an awesome wellness centre, contact me at drtilly@hotmail.co.uk, and we can fix something up for an interview.
All right. So he's planning on going on some future trips. So can you do it soon? Because we're talking about going somewhere in July.
Mexico.
That's right. So this has been the Weekly Buzz with Dr. Joe-James Tilley. Is that it? What's the order there?
Joey
All right, we're just going to call
T.
it Joey T, because Billy D and Joey T. As we always, can you do that here? And rock and roll all the way from Echericia. How do you say it?
Ericeira,
baby.
Portugal. I can say Portugal, baby.
Ow!
And the water's cold, man. Bring your 4-3. All right?
You got it.
This video is sponsored by my friends over at MyChiropractic.com. Custom branding and web design for successful chiropractors. I love these dudes because they're raising the image of chiropractic, and I really thank them for supporting all of our videos. Rock and roll.